need to report a missing person. Echo Allen, she's my daughter. Her coat is gone and her sled is gone. But if she went sledding, she didn't come back.
We're looking for your neighbor's daughter, 14-year-old girl. She's been missing since last night. Have you happened to see her at all?
No.
Echo Allen. Ring any bells?
No.
On the night that Echo disappeared, she reached out to me from the darkness.
That's a mother's intuition.
But then she revealed to me a sign. Tell my mother what you've done. A sign of the 7 circles.
It was an accident. It could have happened to anyone. The 7 circles are unforgiving. They are locked in grief. They will warp everything within them. And for you, who's turned her back on her calling, you will pay dearly.
I'll pay. Echo did not run away. Something terrible happened to her. I know, because she reached out to me from another realm. I need you to help me find out what happened to her, but you can't help me find her. Only I can do that. I want to talk to my daughter. I want to talk to my beautiful Echo. Can we do that? Please?
Hey! We are live. Welcome to Call to Contempt. We're here with
What's up?
John Adams, or if you know him when he's doing Vengeance, it's John Law. He's an actor, he's a director, he's a producer, he's a writer, he runs the sound, he sings and plays guitar in the Statues of Liberty. He does pretty much fucking all kinds of various media and art. John, welcome to the show, man. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much, you guys. This is really great to be with you. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. And I gotta say that Motherfucker is one of those songs that's just great, man. That's just one of those songs that's like visceral, like, you know, it's like I try to be a Buddhist, but sometimes you just want to kill a motherfucker. And that song just fucking crystallized it for me, man. But you can't find too much of your guys' stuff out there. It's hard to find on YouTube and stuff like that. Why is that?
Well, you know, you can find Banana Fish Zero. So what happened was we were Banana Fish Zero, me and Prince Pal and Texas. And Banana Fish Zero had a great regional run. And you can find all of our stuff, you know, all over all the places that you can look for this kind of stuff. But Statues of Liberty was a reformation of Banana Fish Zero where we added Hitomi. And you know, we weren't media savvy, you know, and we didn't get our stuff all over the place and do all that stuff. And sometimes I regret it. Like we didn't cut we cut like just, I think 2 videos or something like that. So you can see like Run Motherfucker. And
that one's great.
Yeah, it's fun. You know, we just weren't media savvy. We were playing out all the time. And I remember talking to Hal and saying, you know, we got to like put some videos up or you know, it's going to disappear. It was also like when CDs were ending, and so things were going online, and we kind of got lost in the shuffle, you know?
Take us back. I don't want to get too off track because we like to start at the very beginning. Take us back to a young John Adams. Like, what's the thing that made you want to pick up a guitar and be like a rock and roll Hellraiser?
That's funny, man. I was just telling my daughter a story about the first time. So this would be in the 70s, the late 70s, and people were listening to Journey and stuff like that. And I was hating that. And I remember hearing I was at my grandparents' house, and I heard my Aunt Mabel just freaking out in the living room. Something was on TV, and I went into the living room, and there was a news thing about the Sex Pistols. And she turned around to me, and she was like, "Can you believe that people like this band? They piss in the audience and spit at their audience." And I was like, awesome. And it took me a while because I was in upstate New York in the Catskill Mountains. I couldn't find the Sex Pistols. Where was I going to find the Sex Pistols? I'm like, 12 or 13 years old. And finally, I found a band called the Angry Samoans. And Samoans, it was a song called You Stupid Jerk. It was over in 26 seconds, and my life changed.
And so what? You picked up guitar first, or you were?
No, first okay, so you stupid jerk, I can't take it no more. Your face makes me want to puke, and your mother's a whore. So yes, I can write lyrics too. So I started.
So wait, where did you find these albums? Was it like at the local record store? Did somebody like hip you to them, or what?
A kid from North Carolina came up and played You Stupid Jerk for me, and then it still took me a little while to get the album down in the city. I had to go down to the city. But as soon as I heard it, I realized, okay, I want to be in a hardcore band. So I started, putting together hardcore bands and being a singer. But everyone still at that time in my, school still had long hair and was, being like 80s rockers. And so I got kicked out of every band that I started. And realized I better figure out how to play something so I could keep people out of my band. And so, bass, kind of, not very well.
Bass?
Started out with bass, yeah.
When did you meet your compatriot, Mr. Hall?
You mean Andrew?
Yeah.
How do you know Andrew?
Prince Hal.
Oh, Prince Hal. Okay, cool. I thought you were talking about Andrew Hall, another friend that I played music with. So,
all right.
My first real band that really, really flew was Banana Fish Zero with my great friend Prince Hal, who I grew up with in the Hudson Valley. And Prince Hal and I were, he was Alex when I knew him as a kid, and we all were like the local punks in our town. And so, I'm sure you guys know, whether you're metalheads or whether you're punks, you definitely glue into who you're vibing with. And so me and Hal were fast friends, doing all those things that we were doing. And eventually, Hal used to come to I had started the band Banana Fish maybe in 1994. And Hal used to come to see our shows, and he was just such a great audience member. I was like, dude, why don't you just be in the band? And he was like, all right, yeah!
Nice.
And when
how'd you come up with that name?
When Prince Hal joined the band, everything changed.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
What brought you out to Texas that you guys did it there?
Wait, why did we play in Texas?
Yeah, you said you started in Texas before, didn't you? Or?
No, our drummer's name was Texas.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, all right, that makes sense. Okay, so you guys were here.
Yeah. So what happened was me and Prince Hal, we had another drummer, and eventually we hooked up with this guy Texas, who just brought the chaos, and he brought a lot of magic. But as soon as Texas joined the band, everything came together and everything fell apart. So we're like, we always say we were a car crash waiting to stop happening, and we waited to stop happening for about 5 years, and it was fucking beautiful.
Jeez.
And that brought you to the Statues of Liberty.
Yeah, then the accident finally really did happen, and we just completely totaled our car, literally. And then Hal and I kind of reformed with Hitomi, who's
Where
just
did you find Hitomi?
Frank Wood. You guys know who Frank Wood is?
Oh, Frank Wood. Frankie Wood. Yeah, I fucking love that guy.
Hey, Johnny Law, I got a great drummer for you. She's from Japan.
Dude, she's on another fucking level.
He hooked us up with her, and she was magic. And we just toured relentlessly, like East Coast, like regionally East Coast, and just had an amazing time.
What was some of the craziest shit you guys saw on tour?
That I can talk about?
Yeah, that you could talk about,
Or that you can't.
I'll say Banana Fish. Okay, so Banana Fish was pure, wonderful, celebratory madness. And basically, we cultivated this terrific punk party scene. So it was all just like, it wasn't like mean, violent punk. It was, let's all blow our minds out of our ear punk. And it was beautiful. And I have to say, like, even though we all got just jacked and eventually kind of got into a lot of trouble, it was like this great couple of years of chaos and really good friendships. And, Hal woke up one day on the bottom of some steps in his car with a lady knocking on his door saying, "Excuse me, sir, your car's in the park." I mean, luckily, nobody got hurt, so we can laugh, but
Yeah.
I have to say that it was real chaos, but it was really kind of beautiful, and there was no kind of meanness to it. It was all just overly celebratory,
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
It was.
Awesome.
It was madness.
It's like one of the
Oh, no.
movies from the 80s or something
It was
like
after
that.
2001, like I think a lot of us, 2001, 911 really kind of like spun those brain cells, spun everything out, and it made you question everything, and it made you push every single boundary you ever had in your life, because, the whole world got kind of like a whole new perspective on a lot of things, right? Didn't you guys feel that way,
That can happen?
Yeah.
Man. I could see that shit from the top of my street. That was fucking... That burned for days. Like, I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody who was there, and I lived on, I lived right there on 11th Street when all that happened, and I think that it's a, that was a mind bender, and it had an effect on, how to celebrate life after seeing something like that, and you want to celebrate life after you see something like that, and live through something like that, luckily, and so.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to put it all on that, but I would say from 2001 all the way to 2005, like, there was a real vibe in New York City and New Jersey and up in Boston and all over the place that was kind of like everybody,
Yeah, fuck yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, man.
Angry and on edge.
It wasn't even angry. It was more like just fucking like, we're just gonna do it. Like, I don't know. Everybody did seem more fucking motivated. That's when I was in like college, and people just seemed like more. I don't know. We just saw shit happen. We're all like, holy fuck, that was 3 years ago. That was crazy.
Yeah.
It's almost like the end of innocence for our age or something.
After something like that, I think the answer was always yes. Hey, do you want to do this? Yes.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Want to do that? Yes, yes.
So when did you actually become like media savvy and start getting into film and doing? I know too. I wanted to ask you about the rock and roll acid test. What was that all about? Like I vaguely remember that being a thing, and then it was funny. Like I found out about that like way after I met you, and somebody told me that. I'm like, oh fuck! Like I remember that. So can we talk about that? Was like 2007, 2008, something like that?
It's like Mythbusters for rock and roll.
Yes, that's exactly what it was billed as. And so, you asked, one of the first questions you asked was, how come Statues of Liberty isn't like, how come it's hard to find Statues of Liberty stuff? Well, right when Statues of Liberty was kind of like really building up our thing, I was offered, hey, do you want to be this show that is exactly what you said, Mythbusters, but with a rock and roll twist? Is looking for a character who will act like a jackass. They need, and I was like, I can do it. And so they were like, but you need to go do a casting. A lot of people are doing a casting. It was in New York City. I was like, yeah, okay. So I went to this casting, and the director of the show was like, so I hear that you are in a band, so we're looking for that kind of character. So what do you do in your band? I was like, well, I sing, and our thing is that we just stand around in our Speedos, and that's kind of our thing. And he's like, do you do anything kind of crazy? I was like, well, yeah, I punch myself in the face. And he's like, let's see you punch yourself in the face. And so I punched myself in the face, and he was like, you're hired.
That's great.
It was really great, and it was a real life changer, because suddenly, like in 2 weeks, I was living in Los Angeles on this TV set with a huge production company doing this show called Rock and Roll Acid Test for Fuse Channel. And it was super lucky, and it came out of the blue. Unfortunately, I couldn't do Statues of Liberty for 6 months because suddenly I was in LA. But that's where a lot of things changed for me in terms of redirecting my art. Up until that point, I was just, fast and true to rock music, rock bands, playing out, recording. And when I got on that set and I saw the production, and I was, hung out with the camera guys and the sound guys, I fell in love with that. I fell in love with it.
Oh man, so is that also like, so what happened with the Statues of Liberty, man? Are you still with those guys, or? Because actually, I was into you guys when you were touring and stuff like that. We saw you a couple times already. I don't remember where, but
we'll always be together. It's me and Hal and Hitomi, and me and Hal are gonna be, we're the best friends until death. So I mean, I think Statues of Liberty is just waiting for the right opportunity. Obviously, with COVID, there's nothing going on. We were asked, do you want to play a show in New York City right in the middle of COVID with nobody there? It was like, not really, man. Yeah. I think, all my friends in the rock and roll world are sidelined right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. You're right.
Yep. And
yeah, go ahead.
No, just a stupid question, but how did you come up with the name Banana Fish for a band, man?
It's not the happiest answer, but like there's a book called
oh no, did I lose you guys?
And
okay.
we'll get like on the low.
What's the name of the book? I'm sorry, I lost you guys for a second. Digital problems, but
well, it's from J.D. Salinger's 9 short stories.
Okay.
And that short story is called A Perfect Day for Banana Fish, and it's a terrific story about a guy who commits suicide. And I started the band right after I had cancer, and I had those kind of feelings. So that meant something to me, and it was a way to like fucking look at the monster right in the face.
You had cancer?
Yeah.
I did. I had lymphoma.
I remember reading your story, and it fucking it was on like one of your websites, and it always resonated with me, man. Like respect, like you fucking like defied the odds of like everything. So respect, seriously.
Thank you,
man.
dude.
I'm glad it like everything worked out how it did, man. Like I always loved you when I saw you, and it was like to a room of like me and like 5-10 other people, and you put out 110%. I'm like, this. I took that away from that gig. I'm like, this guy fucking, these guys know what the fuck they're doing, and it's like if these 10 people walk away feeling like they were fucking moved, that's what's important. If the one person in the room walks away feeling like they were fucking moved, that's what's important. You guys fucking, I was blown away when I saw you guys. It was awesome.
Paul, you just nailed it on the head because, like, I learned that from Prince Hal, because when we first started touring around and we, you drive to like Pennsylvania, some little town in Pennsylvania, and there'd be like 2 people there, right? On the way home, I'd be like, oh man, it's so fucked. It was like, this is fucked. There was like nobody there. And Hal was like, what? There was 2 fucking people there, dude, and they loved it.
Dude, I love that guy.
That's right, man. And so, like, Hal taught me that, man. Hal taught me, like, and you know what? If there's nobody there, Hal is there.
Yeah.
And that taught me a lot of just about everything. Just about all art is, man, there's somebody there, so go for it. Put it out there.
I always feel like all art is making my friends laugh. Like, really, at the end, I could be doing the most serious thing ever, but I'll do one thing that I know will make my friends laugh. And, like, that's my way of fucking really putting myself into my art. So you ended up making fucking awesome movies. Like, you guys do the cinematography and the writing and all that shit, and like, talk to us about this, because this like is mind-blowing.
Well, thanks, man. So I'm in Los Angeles in Rock and Roll Acid Test doing the show, loving the whole kind of the whole production side of it, really. And my wife is a real actress, but as she got older, as she moved into her 30s and started to go up to her 40s, the industry in Hollywood, they don't fucking care about those beautiful women anymore, and they're still looking for the 20-year-olds, and the roles dry up and the respect dries up. And my wife was getting really frustrated, and she's so talented, and I was like, hey man, like, on this show, we could do this, like, we could do what they're doing if we just do it small, we'll just do something small, and let's try to make a movie. And she's a really great writer. So my wife, Toby, she wrote a script, and so we lived in an RV and drove around the United States for a year and filmed this script that she wrote.
So
and
where did you guys film this? Like, where did you guys go? What's the...
Well, so we started in Los Angeles, so we drove up to, the Northwest, and we spent some time in the Northwest, and then we drove down to the Southwest, and then we were in the Southeast, and we drove all over the place. And it was basically a story, like Toby was smart. She wrote a story about a mother who was taking her kids on an RV trip before she went to prison.
Dude, that's genius, because that's using like exactly what you have, and knowing, like, that's fucking brilliant. That's what it's about, man. That's fucking great. I love that.
So
and where did you get your budget for this, man?
Oh no, our budget was fucking here, like right here.
Yeah, you had like a video camera, and sound. I mean, like, as like a guy in a band, how sound in a movie should kind of sound, right?
That's right. It's so. When we did our first movie, where are we? We're in 2020. 2021. We did our first movie 2010. And right then, like, Canon came out with the Canon 5D, and microphones were getting cheaper, and Final Cut Pro came out. So all these amazing things were happening where somebody like me could do everything by themselves. Only 5 years before, I couldn't have afforded to develop the film. I would have had to pay a sound person. I would have had to pay an editor who would have cut this shit, the real film. So all that stuff disappeared, and suddenly somebody like me could make a movie.
And when it falls on you, it becomes pretty easy to figure out, like, oh, this is how editing video works. Like, I press S here, and it cuts the video, and then I can get rid of this part that I don't want. Like, like you just learned that from the ground up, right?
That's right. I learned a lot of it from YouTube. I was like, wait, how do I do this? So I go to YouTube and I type in, like, how do you edit? and then some 13-year-old kid in, like, Illinois would explain it to me. You know what I mean? And it was really cool. And so all those answers were there. And, our first movie is filled with issues, but one of the things that holds it all together is that it has heart. So, yeah, is it amateurish? Yeah, our first movie is amateurish, but it has like this kind of beautiful innocence to it that it kind of like totally passes because of that. And so it was this great start,
And what I also love about you guys is that you're like a family affair. Like, your kids are like all in with this. Like, oh, I'll play this role. Like, that sounds cool. Like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
it was awesome. I mean, and it still is awesome. So my older girl, when we did our first movie, both my girls were interested in being actresses. They didn't know. They were like, I want to be an actress. And it was like, well, being an actress is kind of difficult. You have to wake up at 5 o'clock and, there's a lot of assholes in the industry and blah, blah, blah. And they were like, well, I still want to be an actress. And so I was like, all right, so then totally write them 2 parts. And so suddenly here we are, this family driving around. Everybody's happy. We're all doing this art together. And so one of the great things that happened was that my youngest daughter, who was 5 when we first started filming, has been around a camera and a microphone and an editing bay and been in on every single talk about directing. And now she's 17 years old and has got it down. And it's so neat to see this powerful 17-year-old girl who now I turn to and am like, what do we do? And she's like, well, I don't like the way you set up this shot, So it's these are unintended consequences that have turned out to be really beautiful.
But dude, that's fucking beautiful. Like, the amount of shit that a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old kid will pick up in terms of like it's like amazing. Like, that's fucking great. I love that. That just blows my mind. And you guys have made what, like 7, 8 movies now, I think, right?
Coming up, so we're finishing our 7th right now.
Okay.
And it's called. So this one, my 17-year-old actually really is the director and the lead actress, and I'm basically concentrating more on being the cinematographer, even though she's also the cinematographer. I'm more of the production side, which is really fun for me. Excuse me.
Are you getting that like that teenage attitude while you're working together? Like, she just rolls her eyes, is like, Dad, the lens cap is on, or
okay, boomer.
Obviously we need more lighting here. Yeah, right.
The only person who does the teenage attitude is me. Zelda, what are you doing? What are you doing? Did you take the lens cap off? Yes, Dad.
Oh. She knows.
That's great.
Just trust her. She knows.
Fun, man. No, it's like, one of our philosophies, and it's funny, I've heard a lot, no, that you can't be a parent like that. But, my philosophy always has been, I want to be my kid's friend. And a lot of parents would be like, no, you have to be their parent. And I'm like, no, you be your kid's parent. I'm going to be my kid's friend.
That kind of makes sense, though.
Yeah, it's great. And so now I have a friend that's 17 that turns out she's also my daughter. It's fucking awesome.
But she's honest with you. She feels like she can be honest with you because of that, I imagine.
Yes.
That's what people don't understand.
Right. And actually, our movie right now is about that. Like this movie, we're doing a movie called Hellbender, and it's about a mother and a daughter. And the mother is like a classic parent that's hiding the truth from her daughter. So she's like, it's like the parent who's like, you really shouldn't smoke pot. It's really bad for you. And it's like, how many parents are like that? John, don't drink. Drinking's bad for you. Meanwhile, getting sloshed, at 11 at night when you go to bed. And it's like, so our movie is in essence about that kind of parenting, like the parent that thinks they know better than their kid, so they lie to them.
I like that.
It's got this great, but it's based in horror, so the consequences are super vicious.
Nice.
Are most of your movies horror? Or?
No, only our last 3 have been horror because so me and my daughter Zelda made a movie called The Hatred as a test run. Like, hey, we had a winter of not much going on, and so we made a horror movie just to see what's it like to make a horror movie? What's it like to do blood and all that kind of stuff? And then also, how will it be received? And what we found out was that the horror community is amazing.
Oh yeah.
They want new shit to love.
They want new shit every night,
And they're open-minded too, I think.
Yeah. In all ways. They're open-minded about story. They're open-minded about how things are displayed to them. They're open-minded about art. They're open-minded about politics. On a lot of horror websites now, and politics are a big kind of no. It's like, don't fucking bring politics to this shit, man. And these days, that's a nice relief. So this whole community, this whole big community, you just don't even hear about that crap, And so we all sit around and we talk about whether the blood was fucking dark enough.
One thing I do want to throw in though about horror is I always felt like they were way ahead of the curve in terms of I don't know if you followed the Chucky movies or whatever with the killer doll, but they did a movie Seed of Chucky that's basically about transgender and gender identity way before anybody gave a shit. The guy who directs all those movies is gay, that's something he thinks about and writes about, and they did a whole parody on Glenn or Glenda. I always just loved that horror was fucking transgressive with that, way ahead of the curve in terms of all that stuff, Sleepaway Camp. I could think of 20 horror movies, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, that touch on issues that weren't even discussed in society or were shunned upon. I always respected that. It's a great community.
I agree with you, and it's something that I didn't realize. I think I kind of felt it because I liked horror movies, but once I really started to explore, be a part of the horror community, you're so right about that. And it's funny because horror is like punk rock. It's considered it's punk rock. It's not real music. It's punk rock. Horror is not real film. It's horror. And that's a load of shit.
Yeah, it is.
There's so many great directors that came through horror. And another thing, I think there's a lot of great writing, because you can take chances in horror that you can't necessarily take in other genres, I think. 100. And you can kind of play with not only story, but just approach in a way that, just people are open to it, because it's all about, things that are unknown, the other. So there's an air of mystery to that. And I think that gives you a lot of wiggle room in terms of writing story and stuff like that. I saw the trailer for Dig Deeper. I was really impressed with that. I'm sorry, did you have something to add to that whole?
No, just that you're 100%. What you're saying is perfect.
That's actually a great transition, because I wanted to ask you about Dig Deeper. I noticed you won 10 awards for that, and as that that movie looks awesome, and I have to admit I haven't watched it yet, which is good because I would spoil it for the fucking audience by accident. So, I'm gonna probably watch it tonight. But the trailer is fucking. The whole movie looks like it's shot beautifully, like the cinematography. Was that you guys like? Just the family there, like, yeah, set up the shot like that. Like, tell me about it, man. I want to know.
Yeah, there's a bunch of cool things about The Deeper You Dig. Like I said, my daughter and I made this movie, The Hatred, first, which was a test run, and what we learned was how available the Catskills are for horror, and how great they look on film, especially in the winter, because there's a lot. There's like the contrast and the brutality of the Catskills just leaps onto the film. So just filming the trees is fucking scary. And, you know, and so the cinematography is something that's really important to us. I like painting. So, you know, I love to, you know, it's really important to me. Every shot I take looks like a painting. You know, it's got to have, you know, I want a still frame to go on the wall. Do you know what I mean? I hate wasted. I don't like looking at films that waste time on things that wouldn't go on a wall, you know? And so the Deeper You Dig was really me and Zelda spending a lot of time making sure that, you know, everything we shot could go on a wall. And it really paid off because it was accepted really well in the horror community, and it was also accepted really well in by the press, which was the first time. You know, you guys are artists, you know, it's like you kind of hate the press, but at the same side you kind of need the press, and you know, you kind of don't want to be accepted, but you kind of do. And it was really amazing that we got accepted by the press, and suddenly everything changed for us. Like, it was kind of explosive, and it happened overnight. Like, the amount of press that we got and the amount of action that we got on The Deeper You Dig has really changed everything. And, you know, we're really lucky. You know, we're like so lucky. It's really cool what's happening right now.
Dude, it's fucking beautiful, man.
Yeah, it's super fun. And you know, but what's cool is we're still retaining our independence. Like, we've had some, you know, it's like, it's interesting because producers have come along and said, hey, you know, we want to, let's dance, you know, and when you dance a little bit, you quickly realize you lose your pants. You know, that's the problem with the dance, you lose your pants. And so we realized, you know, not in a bad way or negative way, it's just like that we just don't want to dance without our pants. And so this next movie that we're making, we're producing ourselves again, and it feels really, really good. Now, it's not done yet, and the proof is in the pudding, or whatever you say, but it's nice to retain our independence, and I really hope that our next one, Hellbender, is accepted as well as The Deeper You Dig, you know?
I'm sure it will be, man. Like, do you learn everything from every movie you make when you walk away? I mean, come on.
Dude, that's the best question ever. And the answer is absolutely, and mostly you learn from your failures.
It's all art, right?
Yeah, right? And but especially movies, you make a mistake and it hurts so fucking bad because you see it or hear it over and over and over.
You can never unsee it.
You never unsee it. It never goes away.
Unless you're George Lucas, you just fucking re-edit that shit and put it out there quietly. Like, yeah, it's a new Blu-ray, buy it.
Well, you know, Lucas is a good example. I think he probably got his ass stung on those movies that he did, you know, with what you know the ones with that had like the aardvark character.
Oh, at the
Jar Jar Binks.
Yes,
the early
prequel?
the prequels. Yeah.
So you think about like those prequels. Like there was like three of them. You know, I don't want to offend anybody. There was three of them that aren't that great, and then he learned his lesson, and the next three were phenomenal.
Well, no, the prequels came after though. He made the first He made the 3 phenomenal ones back in the day.
Yeah, but no, correct. So
He's talking about the post movies, the ones that just came out in the late aughts or whatever.
Right. So at least in my opinion, the first 3 are masterpieces. Every one of them, boom, boom. Except I really love the teddy bears.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi. Yeah, those first 3 are like different, but it's like different. I don't even think he directed them. Like Irv Kershner directed. Like, you know, he came up with the idea, and those guys were like, this part's cool, this part, maybe not so much. Like, I don't really know what his whole like overseeing of it was, but like those guys, based on the ones he made after the 3 after, were definitely very important to the, you know, like somebody else was very important to that stew to make it taste that good, metaphorically.
Right. Well,
I don't know. I think George isn't hungry anymore, and I think that's what happened. So I think when he was hungry back when he was young, he made some great movies. Everybody blew smoke up his ass, and the prequel sucked. I think that's kind of it in a nutshell, you know, because he knew he was going to make a bunch of money, and people were going to line up around the door. So it wasn't as important, I guess.
Yeah, I would imagine that's true too. But I'll bet you, in his heart, he got stung.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, for sure.
Well,
Because he's an artist.
I'm sorry?
No, just that he's an artist, and every artist, whether you're rich or famous or poor and not famous, when someone takes a dump on your art, it fucking hurts.
Well, he also too, I feel like he had a grand master plan for that first movie, and that character that everyone fucking hated, they were supposed to fucking hate him. The grand scheme of things was that he was supposed to be like the Sith version of Yoda. That was like a goofy, like, oh, we kind of like him, and then like, wait a minute, he's pure evil. That was like his plan all along. Everyone just fucking piled on and hated it so much. And also, I think it's like, he went from making movies where they like went to, I don't know, fucking Jakarta and shot in like a desert, and it's like, oh yeah, behind you is gonna be a giant lizard and a fucking space city. Like, just act like that shit is there. Those entire movies were all green screen for like 90% of it, and like the actors don't know what to do. Like, it's a good transition to like acting. Like, without all that shit around, it's very hard to like really act like that shit is there.
Yeah,
and that's a big problem, is like the disconnect between like the actors in that movie and all the shit that's going on around them. Like, they don't know that in post, George Lucas is like, oh yeah, this needs a giant monster, just put that shit in there. And it's easy for him. God bless him. He can produce his own movies where he says, yeah, put that giant monster in there. It just, it just needs that shit. You know, that is what it is, but it's like, it takes its toll.
Yeah. I think someone who did do their own stuff and did someone I really admire is John Carpenter.
Oh yeah.
You know, for me, The Thing is like, in a way, I always had The Thing in the back of my mind when we were doing The Deeper You Dig.
Cool.
Because of the just absolute cold isolation of that movie. And it's something that is almost caught off screen, or like it's just always there, like, and it's hard to describe why it's always there, but it is. And it's something that was really important to us with The Deeper You Dig, was that complete isolation and that overwhelming cold quality, you know. And I love John Carpenter. I love what he does, and I love the way he retains a lot of his own independence. You know, he does his music, he does his production, he's very cool. You know,
I was gonna say, you kind of remind me, like, that you bring him up, like, you do the music in your movies too and stuff like that, right? Like, you know, like, oh, this should be tense right here.
And music is, you know, that's what's, you know, like you asked me before about, well, do you still play with statues? The beauty about doing film is that I get to keep doing music. You know, I I get up every day and I'm still doing music because I'm looking at visuals and trying to put an emotion to them, and that's really exciting and super fun.
So, my question to you about that process: do you do that to the footage? Like, do you, or do you like record music and then like plop it in there, or like sit there like, oh, right here it needs boom, 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 when you're hitting guitar
Yeah,
strings and shit.
I think a lot of people do the watch the thing and go bow bow bow. I can't do that because I'm not like a technical musician. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like I can't say to myself, "Ooh, this could use an A minor seventh right now for this emotion." So what I do is I sit around when I'm thinking about the movie before I filmed, and while I'm thinking about the movie, I just write a shitload of music.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good idea.
And then you just find its place for it in there, or
Then the best thing for me is to edit a scene, and then I fly in. I have hard drives filled with both sounds and songs and themes and just filled. And then I just fly stuff in, and when something works, it works. It's really a great feeling. And when something doesn't work, it does not work. You just know it. And
Yeah.
there's never really a question. You never bring something on and are like, hey, do you think this works? It fucking works or it does not work.
isn't that the best feeling when you like you made all your edits and you drop something in there and all of a sudden it's just like, ah. I love that, man.
There's no, it is really a beautiful feeling. It's hard to describe unless you've done it because everything just comes together. It really is beautiful when audio and visual just dance together.
As one.
As one, yes. And export, you know?
Oh man.
So does your wife write all the scripts, or do you and your daughter now write the scripts, or?
Well, actually, this last one, like my wife always writes the script.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm not a very good writer or reader. So I'm more of like a fixer on set. And also my daughter is more of a fixer on set. My wife has got that ability to be able to see the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have that ability. So I can see the little picture. I'm really good at putting scenes together, but a lot of the time my brain just doesn't work in a way that I can see the big picture a lot, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, totally, man.
It's great that you can play off each other's strengths.
Yeah, that's like the most amazing thing to me, man. Like you guys have like a functional like punk rock like filmmaking family, and I love it.
It's so fun, you know. It's so lucky. It's so fun. I sound like a drip, you know, but I mean, I can't say that it's not super fucking fun. It's so great, you know. And we've been laughing about it, like we're putting together this movie Hellbender, and it just feels good, you know. It feels good, you know.
And you said too, you're making music too with your daughter.
Yes.
You guys, you're laying down some riffs, and she'll tell you, I don't know about that, or that's fucking cool.
Yes. Better than that, what she does is what I love is she's in touch with new music. So she's constantly like, check out this band, check out this singer, check out that, listen to that. And so I'm always getting turned on. It's like back in the day when somebody rolled in with the Angry Samoans, you know, it's
what's some new music that people should check out that you think?
Well, I think that you'll laugh if I say
it
some
doesn't
of the
matter. I'll still listen to it. Whoa! Holy shit!
Oh shit!
hair just broke.
Oh man!
Oh no!
Holy shit!
Shit.
You got metal in your ass, man. You're
Holy
still rocking, breaking chairs.
You all right?
Damn.
Okay. Hey, don't tell my sister.
No, I won't tell her.
Yeah, we wouldn't tell her. Holy shit!
You
So
gotta
what's
tell her
some
tomorrow.
new bands we should check out?
Right, exactly. You really got me on that one. Holy shit. So
Don't
we've
say
been
the
listening-
chairs.
You guys know Courtney Barnett?
Mm-mm.
Fucking Yes. Listen
Yeah?
to Courtney Barnett.
Okay.
That's Hey Zell. What's the band that sings Hayloft? You ever heard Mother Mother?
Nope.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, that's the thing is I'm gonna roll out these bands and it's gonna be like what?
Hey man, I'm gonna listen back to the show for probably the first time in a year and try and listen to them. So
What's Avant Gardner? Listen to a song called Avant Gardner by Courtney Barnett.
okay,
It's so funny and so good.
all right,
Cool. Cool.
That's gonna be my recommendation.
okay.
Nice.
I'll
How about
take
you?
it.
What do you recommend to me and Z?
Man, you know it's tough to say. I would say 6 to 8 Mathematics. I think
6.
Yeah, they're a pretty cool punk band out of New Jersey that I really think is awesome. I also like Jigsaw Youth.
Oh yeah.
We had
Great.
We had them on. They're really cool. And I'm trying to think of a third. It's tough to say.
Electric Frankenstein, some guys from there on not too long ago.
He
Black
probably
Rose
knows fucking
Burning.
Electric Frankenstein.
Well, I used to play
Old
with
school.
Frankenstein at Brighton.
They're great.
Yeah, of course. They're amazing.
I'm still into them, even all these years later. I
Yeah,
was listening to the Transplants not too long ago either, which is a great band.
did you guys ever listen to Danko Jones?
Oh, I remember the name. I don't think I ever actually listened to Danko Jones, but I do remember the name.
They can be pretty fierce. And so can the band. Zell, what's that band that sings Figure It Out? Royal Blood. Do you know them?
Yeah, Royal Blood. They're bass and drums. That's pretty sick.
It's super sick. I really like those guys.
If you dig them, I would check out too. Death from Above, 1979. They're like another band that's dancey.
I've heard them.
They've been around a long time. I'm sure you actually heard them. Yeah, that's I don't know, man. In terms of new bands, I'm trying to think of one more. It's tough to say. I can't.
Tough to say.
You know what's fun about listening to the stuff that Zelda is showing me is that it's not rock based. You know, a lot of it's not necessarily like coming with heavy riffs, and I like that. You know, it's pretty fun to kind of hear, you know, some different takes on how to, you know, emote, you know, some emotion. And it's kind of cool that you don't necessarily need a distorted guitar to be a punk, you know, and that's fun. You know, I really like it a lot. I like what you're playing me.
Fucking A, man.
That's great, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, you can't beat
So-
that.
We have 2 videos up, me and her, called it's Hellbender, and if you type in on YouTube, if you type in Hellbender falling in love, 2 videos will come up that we've put up.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, they're fun, and so we're working on some new stuff that's a little heavier.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear it, man. I'm psyched.
How about you?
Yeah.
Working on?
Oh God, we're back. We've been rehearsing socially distant with our masks on and multi-tracking all that shit. So we're just like leaking shit out to the internet little by little, 2 to 3 minutes at a time. And
Perfect.
we're gonna play in Smithville, New Jersey. It's like a little tourist town, and they have an art walk where all artists have like all tables set up, and we're gonna play some punk rock for people, which is weird because we haven't done that in a very, very, very long time.
That's well, when is that going to happen?
That is April 17th.
Nice, man. All right.
Yeah, so we're working up to it, and it's weird. It's like everybody was like pent up animals, like in their cage for like a year. And we rehearsed last weekend, and those guys sounded like they never stopped playing. So it was pretty impressive, and I'm pretty psyched. So that's
Beautiful.
what's going on, and Usually now, do you have anything you want to plug? Any websites? I do have your production company in the description and your IMDb page because I thought that was pretty cool.
Cool.
And your Instagram, and I think that might be it. But if you have anything else you want to plug,
No, I just really just want to say that I just had a great time talking with you guys, man. This was really awesome for me, and I appreciate you bringing me on here. That's
Dude,
what I.
you come back anytime when your new movie comes out. If you want to come on and bullshit and bring everybody along with you, by all means, come back on, and
We would love that.
that would be awesome. I would be psyched for that. And to close out the show, do you have an asshole of the week?
Well, first, tell me your asshole of the week.
Oh, wow, you're the first person to ever turn that around on us, and that's why I love you. Phil, who's your asshole of the week?
My asshole of the week is my own body because I'm gonna have to get a cytoscope, a camera shoved in my fucking bladder, probably next week to make sure the tumor doesn't grow back. So that's gonna be fun to be snaked like a toilet and have to pay for it. Thank God I have health insurance. Not to bring the show down or anything.
No way, you brought it.
Urologist told me that last week. Yeah, you're doing great, but by the way, we got a little something we got to do for you every 6 months for the next 5 years.
So wait, you had cancer too?
I did. I had a tumor, a bladder tumor back in August, but thank God they caught it early, and it was low grade, non-aggressive, and I had a little operation, and I've been fine since. But they got to keep an eye on me. But luckily, that the chances of it ever being dangerous are very low, as long as they keep an eye on it. So I should be good to go.
Dude, that's awesome. You're a cancer killer, and I love you.
You too, man. Right back at you, brother.
A lot of balls. I really fucking appreciate that out of you. That's really cool.
Thanks, man.
And
Yeah.
I too know the pain of having a camera shoved in you pee hole.
That's right.
Yeah, remember when you made fun of me for that?
You told me you peed weird for like a week or something.
Yeah, it sucked. Yeah,
So that's what I have to look forward to.
yeah, it'll be weird. Just push hard. It'll burn a little bit, but it's not because of anything you did. It's because of the doctor.
He's gonna give me some drugs for it, thank God.
And I think on my ass, you still there, John? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, as
He's
long
still
as
there.
All right. My asshole of the week. Oh boy, that's so tough to say because I know so many. I think it's the web developers because I had to explain to people who build commercial websites what a wish list is and how it works. And
God.
yeah, so that's who my asshole of the week is, the dumb web developers that build commercial websites for a living that I had to explain the ins and outs of a wish list to. John, do you have an asshole of the week? If you don't, maybe defer to your kids. I don't know. Maybe they have one.
you got an asshole of the week. She says God.
That's somebody you want to shoot a horror movie with. Somebody who says God.
God.
I love it. Dude, thank you so much, man, for coming on. This has been fucking a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been awesome, man.
Thanks for having me.
And to go out, we are playing Chocolate Cake by the Statues of Liberty. One of my favorite songs. I'm partial to Party Wrecker.
Yes, I love it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, too.
That's a fucking brilliant song, but Chocolate Cake is a classic. So, John, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully we'll have you back when you guys shoot, you finish your next movie. And
oh, yeah.
That shit. And
rock and roll, my friends. Super nice talking to you guys.
rock on. We're out of here.
Peace.
Peace.
me what you want. Tell me what you're gonna make. Tell me what you're gonna give. Tell me what you're gonna take.
I want chocolate cake.
Tell me what you want. Tell me what you're gonna make. Tell me what you're gonna give. Tell me what you're gonna take. Whoa, whoa. Whoa. Whoa, whoa.
I want chocolate cake.
Tell me what you want. Tell me what you're gonna make. Tell me what you're gonna give. Tell me what you're gonna take. Whoa, whoa. Whoa. Whoa, whoa.
I want chocolate cake.
Tell me what you want. Tell me what you're gonna make. Tell me what you're gonna give. Tell me what you're gonna take. Whoa, whoa. Whoa. Whoa, whoa.
I want chocolate cake.
Tell me what you want. Tell me what you're gonna make.